Welcome to our new weekly series where we will be recapping every single MLS game this week. MLS Recap is the title, and this opening weekend of Major League Soccer, we saw some high-scoring games, some low-scoring, and a lot of bangers. Now, without further ado, let's get right into these games.
It's in the back. The shot is there and saves it! Cut from Zardes. Nagby hits it up to himself. It's an absolute calamity at the back.
So drain my bank account. I don't give a shit anymore, okay?
The Houston Dynamo versus the San Jose Earthquakes.
This game was a fun one to kick off the MLS season. Heading into the match, we thought Tab Ramos was a madman, only starting one true center back in the D being Tim Parker and benching Darwin Quintero. Very interesting choices, but it seemed like it worked, as they deservingly beat San Jose. Memo Rodriguez played very well, scoring the opening goal, and Urruti fouled in the 55th minute. San Jose substitute Marie did pull one back late in the game, and what a stunner that was. They almost scored another with Wando, but he did the unbelievable, pulled off an even greater miss than the one in the 2014 World Cup. Sheesh! That shank really summed up San Jose's night. Almeida is gonna have to work his magic if this team wants to go far.
The Seattle Sounders versus Minnesota United.
Everyone and their mothers had Minnesota winning this one, including ourselves. The loss of Ladero and Jordan Morris seemed like it would be too much, but it turned out to be quite the opposite. Seattle put on a clinic, scoring all 4 goals in the second half, one of these goals being a Goal of the Year candidate. Who knew João Paulo had that in his locker? Rui Diaz also scored a brace, and Freddy Montero bagged in one as well in his return to the Space Needle City. Smiles all around for Seattle, but not so much for Minnesota. The CB pairing of Boxall and Kalman just isn't gonna do it. DiBiase and Opara have to get fit quick to shore up this back line. We did like St. Clair though. Despite 4 goals whizzing past him, we thought the first half he played phenomenal. Loons will rise again.
Club de Foot Montreal versus Toronto FC.
This derby is always high-scoring, and this one was no exception, a 6-goal thriller. Even though they played in Inter Miami Stadium, it seemed like Montreal had the home field advantage as they looked exceptional and scored 4 goals. Mason Toye, the former Minnesota man, scored in the goddamn 3rd minute. No chill. Club de Foot Montreal, just like saying that name, were exceptional on the counter, as Kyoto's second goal was a perfect example of this. His pace, his delicate ball dribbling ability on full display as he scored Singh and left Bono with no chance. Toronto, on the other hand, looked bland. They can somehow beat Lyon, the former Ligue MX champions, but can't even come close to beating Montreal. That's MLS for you. Pozuelo can't get healthy soon enough.
Orlando City versus Atlanta United.
I was expecting goals, but the one thing I learned from this weekend is to expect the unexpected. A 0-0 scoreline was all she wrote for this one. Identical in shots and also shots on target. Very even game from both teams. And a scary thought to think about is Atlanta wasn't even starting some of their best players. Alan Franco, Joseph Martinez, and Jurgen Damm were all on the bench. Sheesh! You can make a case that their bench was stronger than their starting 11 was. Bold strategy, Hines, and it did not pay off. Orlando, on the other hand, came out with arguably their best line, but it wasn't enough. Alexander Pato with 2 big misses and a devastating injury, proving that he will be a flop in this league. His replacement, Van der Water, what a cool name, was actually quite good. We're gonna see much more from him as Pato is out for the foreseeable future.
LAFC versus Austin FC.
The most intriguing match of this week was filled with a lot of drama. In the first 10 minutes, Captain Carlos Vela pulled up with an injury and was wrongfully subbed off by Coach Bob Bradley, subsequently destroying my fantasy team. Come on, Bob. Not only was Diego not playing, but now you're going to sub off Vela? Thank God I still came up with a win. Bless up. And LAFC came out with the dub as well. Corey Berard pulled a rabbit out of his hat with a golazo, and Cifuentes added an insurance goal in the 91st minute. Austin still seems like a team that has to gel together. Pochettino and Ring were fantastic in the midfield, field, but the rest of the team has to step it up, especially designated player Cecilio Dominguez. I am liking the squad a lot, just need to see some fine-tuning.
The New Jersey Red Bulls versus Sporting Kansas City.
The first win on the road this weekend and the first comeback. The Red Bulls scored early in the second half with Caden Clark, and what a goddamn goal that was. The 17-year-old is due for a breakout season, and I can't see him staying in New Jersey for long. A move is imminent, and next year he will be more than likely playing in a Leipzig jersey. Besides the goal from Caden, the Bulls didn't really show much else. Sporting Kansas City scored their pair of goals soonly after with a penalty kick and a Shallowy goal, making Shallowy the man of the match in our eyes. Great game by him. Also, new signing Remy Walter from Maltespor played good in the middle, and you have to think, this wasn't even close to their best lineup. Both Alan Pulido and Johnny Russell were on the bench. SKC could be a top-tier team this upcoming season.
FC Dallas versus the Colorado Rapids.
Not really too much else happening in this one. A scoreless draw and not too many golden chances from either team. The only thing of note were those white-green topography kits that Colorado were wearing. Absolute sauce. Besides that, no real standouts other than Jack Price. Dallas could have fielded a much stronger lineup but chose to bench Jesus Ferreira, Paxton Pomykal, and Ricardo Pepi. At least we did see Paxton get some moments there close to the end. Love seeing him back on the pitch after his season-ending injury. Also, not gonna lie, it was weird seeing Barrios play against Dallas in Dallas. Just didn't sit right with me at all. Kellen Acosta playing as a left back didn't sit right either. Sort of a strange game all around.
DC United versus NYCFC.
As an NYCFC fan, this one was so incredibly hard to watch. We played great in the first 10, followed by a game of mediocrity. DC outplayed us and outscored us as well. 2-1 was the scoreline, and they deserved to win. Under new head coach Lasada, it seems like DC now has heart and a fighting spirit that they were missing years prior. Probably the best acquisition they made this offseason. Also, new signing Heinz Ike in the back played phenomenal for DC, not only on the defensive end, but also offensive as well. He scored an absolute stunner that left Sean Johnson with no chance to save. Knaus also scored a very decent goal as well, a direct volley of a corner kick. Again, this was a weekend of bangers. Fair play to DC, their fans were treated to a show.
The Chicago Fire versus the New England Revolution.
It is so nice to see plenty of fans once again at Soldier Field. Maybe the season will revitalize that Chicago team. Early goals by Robert Baric and Luka Stojanovic looked to see them get the win, but New England came fighting back and tied the game with Adam Busquets and Gustavo Bo. One of the best striker partnerships in the league. Besides this collapse, Chicago looked pretty damn good. Baric looked like he will have a fantastic season once again, and his run on the first goal was stupendous. If Chicago can keep playing like this, we could very well see them above the red line. New England, on the other hand, were outplayed and were lucky to come out of Cheatown with a point. Next week, the Revs do play at home, so we'll see what they are really made of next weekend.
Nashville SC versus FC Cincinnati.
Another game, another banger. What a goal by Randall Leal. Still not sure whether that was meant to be a shot or a cross, but they all count the same, brothers. And just like the Chicago and New England game, it ended in a 2-2 score line. Cincinnati scored both goals early by 2. Of their new signings, Luciana Acosta and Brenner, they looked to be a completely different team, but as the game went on, they looked worse and worse and slowly got back into their old ways. Cadiz and Leal were the two men to score for Nashville, and the team as a whole took a whopping 31 shots, the most out of any team this past weekend. A concern going into the season was how their offense would be, and it looks to be a concern no more, as they created plenty of chances to score a third or a fourth.
Inter Miami versus the LA Galaxy.
Heading into Sunday was one of the most anticipated matchups on the card. Beckham's old team versus Beckham's new team, and let me tell you, some shady business was going down in Miami. They don't call it Vice City for nothing. Robinson scored the first goal for Inter, but Gonzalo Higuain was unquestionably offside by a fair amount of inches, and it didn't even go to the VAR. Extremely suspect. And then to add to that, Rodolfo Pizarro did not deserve to earn that penalty. Thankfully, the soccer gods were watching, and the right team actually won on that night. The most least likely candidates to score for the Galaxy somehow ended up on the score sheet.
A double by Chicharito, brother, and a single by Sacha. Question, brother. Put them above Miami, 3-2. What a game that was, though. Where are you gonna be when Hulkamania catches up to you with Chicharito on your front door Sunday? In our opinion, this was match of the week, brother.
The Columbus Crew versus the Philadelphia Union.
The following match was the exact opposite from that thriller down in Florida. The past Supporters Shield winners versus the former MLS Cup champions was a doozy. The first half, you could say, was Columbus's, and the second half all Phillies. This was a battle of the tendies, and neither Andre Blake or Eli Room would give in. Fantastic performances from the both of them. Everyone was expecting Lucas Zelarayan to have a big game, and he unfortunately did not. Only 5 fantasy points. Come on, brah. That's just not gonna cut it. Very surprised to see Philly still competing at a high level like this, even without 2 of their star players, Brendan Aronson and Mark McKenzie, who left the team during the off-season.
The Vancouver Whitecaps versus the Portland Timbers.
And now, this leads us to the final game and the biggest upset of them all. Vancouver actually won 1-0, only 4 shots on target that entire game combined, but again, one of those shots by Vancouver ended in a goddamn goal. Lucas Cavallini scored a beautiful header off a corner, and he's going to have to be their main man if they want to see more wins like this in the future. On the flip side, the Timbers didn't play like the Timbers. They were bland going forward, and there were no real standouts in the attack. Once Sebastian Blanco becomes healthy again, I think that'll change though. Until then, Timbers have to step up their game. Until then, they're going down and they're yelling timber.
Week 1 is officially in the books, brother. And if you enjoy this series, smash that like button so we can make more saucy content. Thank you. We'll see you next time from the top ropes.